Hello, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. It's your girl, Tamara Danette, back with another video for you all. As you can see, we're going to do something fun today. Sort of like an optical illusion type deal, literally. So, I've done one side of my face, girl, looking all types of crazy, okay? All types of crazy. I did my brows. This side of the face is actually complete. This side I just did the brows. For my brows, I used this pencil in the shade Plum. It's from Nabi, N-A-B-I. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's in the shade Plum. So I just did my brows like I do them any other time and just concealed them, and they're going to turn out the same way but just a different color. So I've never done anything like this before. That's why I wanted to try to practice on this side off camera. I think it turned out okay. It is okay. You're never going to get the shape of the eyes perfect. But hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is fun. This is a fun look for Halloween or whatever other occasion you think you can rock something like this. So I did the 2 extra eyes. I'll try to do the same thing on this side. And let's just jump right into this video. So first off, I'm still going to start with my eyelid. So I'm going to prime my eyes with the P. Louise base and Rumor Zero. A couple of drops of this here. You don't need too much because when you blend it out, it's going to spread around. So today is Tuesday, October 5th. If today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Turn up. So I want to start doing some looks, some fun looks for Halloween, just to throw out some ideas, because it's a really popular time of the year for a lot of makeup artists. This is when you get a lot of business, so this is just a fun way to show, you know, that basically a fun way to showcase your skills and things like that. So now I'm going to go in with this Morphe palette, 35V palette. And I want to use this darker shade here. I like it because it looks sultry. So I'll use so this shade is the base, and then I'm going to use this one here for the transition shade. Let me see if I can find the names of them because they're on this paper here. So I'm going to use the shades Addicted and Wild Thing. Okay. So I'm just going to get a brush, fluffy brush, and just pack this on the lid. This shade applies really nicely. It's full coverage, so you don't see any like see-through spaces. So I like this color a lot. Some colors you have to build and build and build just for them to show up. This one, you don't have to do that. But it is a deeper shade color, so to avoid it looking messy, just try to stay in a controlled area and then blend it out later. Start really small for your eye shape so that it doesn't look messy. Deeper colors tend to look really messy if they're not applied properly. So see how easy that went on and how dark that went on? So that's the base. Now I'm going to pack on a little bit of that other shade that we talked about, Wild Thing. And I'm just going to lightly tap that on the edge of the previous color so that it can transition nicely from one shade to the next and you don't have any harsh lines. So see how they just complement each other. So right on top of there. It's okay to touch the previous shade a little. It's all gonna blend together. I hope everybody's doing okay today. As for me, I'm still hanging in there. Still hanging in there. Trying to make the most of each day. Each day. Trying to do something different. Okay, so now I'm going to take a clean brush with no product on it and just blend this outward a little. So just on the last shade we used, just blend out those edges very lightly. Lightly blend them out. Tap my eye. So just blending, blending, blending. I have previous videos on how to do the brows. So if you need to refer to those, just do the brows the same exact way. All you're doing is just using a different color pencil. That's all you're doing. So lightly, lightly blending to my desired blend. Okay. I can dig it. Now I'm going to just go right on top. I'm not going to actually do a cut crease. I'm just going to mimic a cut crease with my Kiss Lash Glue and glitter. So I'm just going to go right in straight up with the glue. Be careful with this part if you have sensitive eyes, because the fumes from the glue might be a little much for you. Okay, so I'm just putting that on there in the shape of a cut crease. I'm going to take my glitter spatula and lightly tap the glue into place. Make sure there's no empty areas. Be really precise with the glue, because wherever the glue is, that's where the glitter is going to go. So you want to be really careful where you apply the glue so you don't get glitter in places that you don't want. And I'm using the same loose glitter from Fluttered by Row, just like a pinky color, really, really pretty. I'm just going to dip this in here and lightly tap it on. I like to get it where I want it at in place before I put on another layer. So just lightly tap it on. Make sure you get it where you want. And then you can always go over and apply more. Okay, I think that's good. So let me just put a little bit more on here. Okay, cool. We are getting somewhere. Okay, now from here, I am going to, let me actually deepen up the deeper shade. Let me just add a little bit more color there. Okay, I want it to appear a little deeper around the glitter area. Just add a little bit more color there. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this liquid liner from Sephora. It's actually the Sephora liquid liner. First, let me find out where I put it. So, Sephora liquid liner. I'm just going to wing out my wing liner. Just like we did on this side. We're adding a wing. I apologize for any background noise you may hear. I wish I could play like fun music in the background without getting copyrighted. I know there's certain music you can use, but I'm talking about my kind of music. You know what I mean, though? My kind of music. Okay, so let me just take my time and create this wing. This does take practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's smooth sailing. You can always place it where you want and always go back and add more or clean it up if you like, but just take your time, get it down first, and then you can always clean it up. I like to avoid from, sometimes I get in the habit of lifting my brows, raising my brows when I do this, but I actually want to avoid doing that. You want your eye to be relaxed so it could just go in place and you can see the shape of it, as opposed to if you're raised like this, then when you relax, it might not even be in the right spot. So just relax and then wing it out. And if your line is not straight, you already know you can go back in with some concealer and clean it up. Okay, just trying to concentrate. 1 second. Okay, perfect. Do what's best for you and your eye shape. You know what's best for you. Okay, let me make it a tiny bit more thicker. It looks like this side is a little bit more thicker. Let's just add a little bit more. Okay. I use my nails as tools. So if I see a mistake, I just clean it up with my nails. Just let the edge, the tip of the applicator from the liner you're using, just let that glide on there and create that line. You really don't have to do much work at all. Just let that liner glide into place. That's why if you use a really light hand, you won't apply too much product at once, and therefore you won't have to go back and clean up too much. Okay, I think it's safe to move on. So now I'm going to go into my waterline with this NYX Faux Whites pencil. This is the shade Mint Cream. This is really good. It glides right on into the inside. You want to do this probably before you do anything else, because if you happen to tear up, you could just wipe that away without messing up your makeup. This glides on. You want a pencil that glides on really easily. You don't want to damage your eye by scraping a pencil in there. So you want something that glides on really easy. So pay attention to pencils that say glide on or something like that. And when they glide on, you avoid having to put a match to it like we used to do back in the day just to loosen it up. These glide on pencils, you don't have to do that. They just come right across smoothly and boldly. So just do that, get that in there. You can always reapply a little later, but as long as your eye is dry, it should apply really nicely. So from here, I think it's safe to go on ahead and do our foundation. This is the Clinique Stay Matte Foundation in the shade Cream Caramel. This bottle is almost empty, but I'm going to use every last drop. You already know how we do it. Let me see how much I can squeeze out. This is going to be a mess. Let me stop playing around, because I already know how clumsy I am. Okay, let me see how much I can get out really, though. Let's see. I wanted to use the matte one because I didn't want to use something that was too, I wanted to pretty much dry down So when we do the little design on there, we don't have to worry about it not setting. So I wanted to use matte foundation for that. Okay. You can use any foundation you want. Full coverage, light coverage. I do recommend that there is a little coverage though, because you want your designs to pop. So you want a smooth surface to work with. Just tap that into place. Tap, tap, tap. Brush down from the hairline. You can get in there hairline, but just tap in there. Lightly tap over it, just so that every area has some coverage on it. And then just fill in the rest of the areas with your sponge, the hard to reach places. Like this area around the nose and the eye. The brush is a little too big to get there, so use your sponge for those areas. Make sure everything is set in place. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Medium Tan Sand. We're not going to use that much today because we don't have really that much area to cover since we have all this stuff going on. So I'm going to damp my sponge with my e.l.f. setting spray. Just one spray is fine. And lightly tap. Tap, 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 tap. If you guys have any Halloween looks, fun looks, or ideas, let me know in the comment section. If there's something you want me to try, or if you want to showcase your work, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. So lightly just tap it in. The more you use, the more you will have to blend it out. So try to use a light, moderate amount. Just putting some down the center of the nose, just to help that contour show up a little better. Define it a little bit, I guess. Okay. So now from here, I'm going to go in with this Becca setting powder. This is a little sampler size, but I like it because it's very, very smooth. We're going to set the areas where we place concealer. I like to lightly tap over the brows too to set them in place. So I'm not going to dust that away just yet. I'm going to do my bottom lash line with the same colors that we used on the top of our eyes. So same exact colors. Do a really, really thin line so that you don't go into your eyeliner and your waterline. You'd have to do it over again if you do that. So just use a light hand. And blend out those shades. So the deeper shade first. Because that's going to smoke out that eye. And I'm going to clean the brush off a tiny bit. And then go in with that second transition shade. Right underneath like we did on the top. Okay. Just get it to your desired liking. I think I like this a lot. I just love this color altogether. So that powder down there is going to help some of that fall out. So if some gets on your face, it just dusts away really easy with that powder. So let's do that. Let me make sure that's blended out the way I want it to be. Okay, let me put a little bit of... See, this area is more cleaner in this area. And this one is a little bit more blended out, a little higher than I want. So I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny, tiny drop of the P. Louise base just to blend that out. Or else that's going to bother me. Perfect. See what I mean, guys? There's always a way to get this stuff the way you want it. Okay. Yes. I can dig it. I can dig it. Question is, can you dig it? That's the question. Okay, so... I wanted to stay in a rainbow shape. I didn't want it blended out so much. I wanted to stay in a controlled little rainbow area. Okay, now from there, it is safe to dust away the powder. From the areas that we placed it. Okay, just really, really quick, before I move on, I want to just tiny, 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 use a tiny bit of liner and just try to get this wing liner exactly where I want it. Perfect. Okay. That was gonna bother me too. You gotta fix it or else it's gonna really bother me. Okay, so now I'm going in this shade here. It's like a purplish, shimmery shade. Let's see what it's called. It's called Lust. So we're gonna go in that with that shade, and we're gonna go right here into the inner corner of the eye, just to highlight that area. That makes the eye just pop that much more. Cool. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to go in with my contour. We're going to use this Morphe 8H palette. It's a highlight and contour palette, so it has contour and highlight in here. I'm going to use the contour in the shade Fabulous. Where is that brush? Oh, here it is. The shade Fabulous right here. Just going to contour as usual. Around the forehead, around the nose. And of course, the cheek area. Okay. We want it just a little deeper than normal. Well, not necessarily deeper, but we just want to make sure it's showing up under our design. Okay. Now, we're going to go in with a little blush. This Ulta Beauty Mineral Blush in the shade Southern Sunset. This stuff is really pigmented, so just take one tap of the brush and you're going to have enough for a lifetime on there with just one tap. So be really careful with that. Okay. I like to go on the balls of my cheek and just bring it up a tiny bit just to be a little extra. From there, I'm going to spray this side of my face so my highlight can pop. Just a little. You don't want it too wet since we are going to go on top and try to create our eyes. Our eyes are looking at you. Okay, so is it safe to close up the shadow for right now? Yes, okay. I forgot we need it for the eyes as well. Now I'm going to use highlight in the shade Mirage. This one right here. 2 taps and just lightly apply. I just realized I have to go back and contour my nose. I forgot to do that part. So let's do that now. A little contour to the nose. Okay. I can dig that. Close that up. I still like to go in with my sponge and just make sure everything's blended out. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little highlight down the bridge of my nose and at the tip of my nose. Okay. Just to be extra. Just want to be a little extra. Okay. Excuse me. I think I should have taken an allergy pill today, but I didn't. Well, now, from here, it's safe to go ahead and add our lashes. So I'm going back in with the Kiss Lash Glue. Oh, first mascara. The Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Excuse me. Okay. Now I'm going to go directly in. I'm using bottom lashes today too. I'll show you those, but just going right on top with my lash glue. A very thin line, as close to the lashes as possible. And I'm just going to go right in on the bottom and put some glue where I want my bottom lashes to be. And we have to let the lash glue dry really well, or else the lashes will not stick. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the lip pencil. And that's all we're using for the lip is a pencil. No gloss or lipstick. So the same pencil we use for the brows, well, that I use for the brows, I'm going to use for my lips. And like I said, pencil only. That's all we're going to use. Well, that's all I'm going to use today. Be careful and make sure you're just using the tip of the pencil. You don't want it to break on you. I love this color. It's not too deep, but normally I like a really, really dark lip if I'm going to do a dark lip, but this is cool. Okay. You want to be as precise as you can because you want the lips to be nicely coated. Don't forget about the inner areas as well. So for the bottom lashes, I'm going to go in with these wispy Ardell wispy clusters. I'm just going to pull these off and put them right where I placed the glue. I'm going under the lash. Cool, perfect. See, when the glue is really dry, saves you some time. And I like the lash to be lifted. I mean, you can press it down and it can lay flat, but I like mine to just lift a little. But you can do yours whatever way you want. It's up to you. Let me close these back up. Okay, perfect. Now for the top. I'm using these Chris Bond Mink Lashes X54. So really long and really fluffy. Really pretty. They're fluffy, but yet they don't cover up the design. I like that. Some lashes can be really, really fluffy, and then you can't even see your eyeshadow. So let me try to get these on. You know, this is I hate putting lashes on. This is my least favorite part of doing my makeup. Is putting on lashes. I don't mind doing other people's, but mine, That went pretty well, guys. Guys and girls. That went pretty darn well. Perfect. It makes my day go by much smoother. Okay. And you always want to go back and check and make sure you don't need to add a little bit more liner. Make sure everything's still in place. Looks like we're good there. Okay. Now, here's where it gets tricky. I'm going to try to create these eye shapes. They're not perfect. No, they are not. But we want them there, okay? We want them there. So, I'm going to take a brown eyeliner pencil. Just take any brown liner pencil and lightly draw out an eye shape. Or what you think an eye shape looks like. Like I said, I already know this is not going to be perfect, but let's just see what we can do. And this is just our guide. And use a really light hand because you're only using this as a guide. It's not, you basically gonna cover this up later. Okay. Okay. Just make a circle in the middle. What is it? The iris? Whatever part. I forgot, sorry. Whatever that circle part is on the things we use every single day that I should know what it's called. I think it's an iris. Right, guys? I don't know. I'm going to fill that in. Okay. Sorry for sniffling. I apologize. It always, always happens when I do my makeup. Always. Not a moment sooner. I'm going to go in with this white pencil. This is an automatic eyeliner pencil from NYX in the shade Matte White. And just get the basics down. You can always go back and fix up whatever you want. So since we have foundation on, the pencil might get a little dirty at the tip. So you may have to just wipe it on a napkin in between just to get the pencil to show back up again. Show up white, basically. I don't think anything has to be really perfect, but I do think it's important for the circle to be as round as possible or as symmetrical as possible as you can get it. Because I think that's the only thing that does make a big difference. So making that a little bit bigger. And try to get it as white as you can. So I'm just going to go back over it. So I'm going to treat this eye just like it's my actual eye. As far as putting shadow on it, as far as putting glitter, like we did up here. I'm just want to mimic the same way I did my eyes. I want a little space here at the bottom, but not too much. Okay. Now, let me Keep you a flat brush handy too, so that you can just clean up any lines that you want to be a little sharper. So now I'm going to go in with that same NYX eye pencil that we put in the waterline. I'm just going to mimic that in this area here. Just like we did on the real one. Okay, so do that. Then I like to take the brown pencil and make a tiny, tiny little line here on top of the waterline, just to close the eye in and make it look a little more natural. So I don't want to just leave it here with this pencil that I put down. I want to put a tiny line in there just to make the eye look a little more natural. And it's important that this line is really small. So just try your hardest to get a tiny line in there. That's all it takes, just a tiny little line. So we can distinguish what's the water line and then what's the eye. Go back and deepen it up because we want that to pop. I'm going to take a white liquid liner. I'm going in with the Epic Wear waterproof liner. And I'm going to add the little bit of sparkle in the eye. So I just put a little bitty line. And just a little dot, just to make it look like there's a little sparkle in the eye. Then I'm going to take that same Sephora liquid liner, and I'm going to actually put a wing liner over the eye. Try to get it as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want it to appear like a natural eye. I do want to get this line as straight as possible. Put a minimal amount of product on the brush, the liner brush. And if you need to go back and deepen it, you can always do that. But just start off with a really thin line and then build from there. And you really want to make sure the line gets thin between the by the beginning of the eye. That'll help it appear more natural as well. So basically start thin to thick. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make sure that pencil is placed where I want it to be. You want to keep a sharpener handy too, so if you need to sharpen the pencil for a more precise line, you can do that. Now I'm going to go on with this neon lip liner in LA Girl Shockwave pencil. It's LA Girl Shockwave Neon Lip Liner. This is the shade Pop, but you can use any pencil. I just wanted a pink pencil just to mimic that little pink part in the center of our eyes here. I just want to do that here. So tiny bit, tiny little bit in the corner here. Then I like to just blend it out a tiny bit. Perfect. Just put that there. Now I want to go back in with the white eyeliner pencil. I want to get this part as white as possible. So what the foundation on the pencil does, So what the foundation on the pencil does, change color a little bit. So that's why I have to go over it a few times. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the Sephora liquid liner and I'm going to line around the actual iris. Like just a little thin line to outline the circle, just to define it. And guys, on that part, when I say let the pencil, the very tip of the pencil, the lip line or liquid liner do the work, let the very tip of that liner do the work. Don't apply any pressure. Okay. You're going to go back and forth between pencils, guys. Just going to go back and forth. Just to get it to your desired liking. Okay, now I'm going to take the Sephora liquid liner again and just make little tiny strokes to mimic eyelash hairs. Just little tiny lines. Put a very minimal amount of product on the brush. Just rub it against the top of the bottle so you can get off all the excess product and just lightly make little lashes. Oh, I lied. Don't do that yet. I forgot. I want to put shadow on the bottom first. You have to have that. You can't forget that. So I'm going to go in with the same shadows that I used on my actual eye and just make a tiny little line down here. Tiny little line. We want to sort of do whatever we did to the real eye to these fake eyes. He wants to be blended too. Okay, so on the top, I'm just going to take those same shadows But we're going to make them much smaller, of course, because it's not a full eyelid. So I'm just going to do a little rainbow shape. Just like we did on the top of the eye, but of course, way smaller. I'm going to also go in with the transition color again, just like we did the top, our real eye. Get a little brush and blend it out. Just blending that out. Now I'm going to actually go in with the glitter like we did for the top of the eye. Put a little glitter. Perfect. Going with our glitter spatula. Put a little glitter on the top. Just like we did on our natural eye. Deepen this area up so it can look like an eyelid. Perfect. Then our transition shade. Cool, people. We're getting somewhere. Now I'm going to go over the wing liner a little bit more with the Sephora liner. Just deepen that back up. I lost a little bit of the shadow when I put it on there, so I'm just going to deepen this back up a little. Or I lost a little bit of the liner when I went in with the shadow. Okay, so now we could do that part when we did the, we want to make the lashes. So little strokes. So whatever you mess up, you always just want to go back and try to fix it. So I'm going with a little more shadow because I went up a little higher than I wanted to. Perfect. So you'll know exactly how you want it. When you do it. I'm sure you have the eye for it. Okay, the eye for it. You can eyeball this thing. You can get through this. Okay. I'm just going over a few things, guys. So that's how we do that. Don't worry, this one I'll do on my own. I'm just showing you how we do the eye. So I'm going to go in with my Kiss Lash Glue. I'm going to put it where I want my bottom lashes and top lashes. We're acting as if we're really doing this thing, guys. We are really doing this thing. So I made my eyes a little wider, so some of the lashes are not going to fit on there perfectly, but it's okay. So guys, I'm using a pair of natural lashes, just some small little lashes. I don't want to use any too big and then everything is just misconstrued. We don't want that. So just use thin lashes. It's okay. I'm going to close that in a little more. Yeah. Okay. So. Wait, why did I put the lashes up when I needed them? Tripping. So let's go in with the clusters on the bottom. Place them right on here like we are really doing the dang thing, okay? We are treating this like a real, true eye. Okay? A real eye. So, now. Put the lash on the top. So, I'm going to start somewhere in the middle. I don't want to put it too far in the center. I want it to sort of fit towards the end too. And I actually shape the lash to go around the eye too. So you're treating it like a real eye. So I just placed the lash right around there. Okay. Look at us all over the place, guys. Look at these eyes staring at us. This is so weird. So weird, guys. Look at us doing the most with all of our eyes watching you. We are watching you, all of us, okay? Guys, thank you so much for hanging in there. I know my videos can be long, girl. I already know, okay? I already know. But I gotta let you see the real. I'm here to show you the real, okay? What we really go through. I don't want to cut out any parts on you or anything like that. I want to show you exactly how I do it. I didn't know if you needed more glue. Okay, I wanted to show you exactly how I do it so that you can see what products I use and things like that. how I clean up my mistakes, things like that. I'm here for you. Let me add just a tiny bit more. Oh no, we're good. So that's going to be good for now. I'm going to do this eye off camera, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. If you like videos like this and want to see more videos like this, just go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel all together so you can just keep getting that content when it's put out. It'll be right there for you. You can go back and share it, refer it to your friends. Yeah, and it also helps me out as well. So like, comment, share, subscribe. If you have looks that you want to show me or ideas for me, leave them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be right back with the finished look. I love you all. Bye.